there are just so many food centers in Singapore, and one of the ways, as we head up here, that people in Singapore decide whether the food is good is by looking at the queue. If there is a long queue, then the food must be good, right? Because why would people spend time in the queue if the food isn't good, right? I don't know. So how do we find out? Well, you have a place, you have a video, you have a reference, you have a series where you can find all this out, and not only at one food center but many food centers around Singapore. So what happens is, well, you will be able to find out when you go to a food center whether this queue is worth the queue, or this one. What about this one? That one? What about this one? Whether it's worth the queue. Yes, so we are having another Worth the Queue episode. So join me after the intro. Worth the queue, worth the queue. Is it worth the queue? Worth the queue, worth the queue. Is it worth the queue? I think so. I don't know. Maybe. Yes, no. I don't know. Worth the queue. Welcome back. And what's happening today? We're actually at Maxwell Food Center, and we are walking the food center to find queues. And as you can see, we are at the food center now, and the food center is quite busy. Lots of people all around, all eating, all sitting down, all looking for food. And at this food center, Maxwell Food Center, you can find a wide variety of different types of food that you can eat. Like you can eat Japanese food, you can even eat noodles, you can even get beer on the tap. Yes, beer. For those of you who likes beer. And of course, we are reaching to the first queue, a place that is very well known here at this food center, and it's this place here. As you can see, the queue is already forming. And so this is Tian Tian Hainanese chicken rice, a stall at Maxwell Food Center that is famous, well known, because it has been featured in quite a few international food or travel shows. And so this is the menu, and these are the prices. And as you can see here, what this place sells is only Hainanese chicken rice. So they concentrate on making one item, they do it often and they do it well. And so this is the Hainanese chicken rice that I got, which cost me $5. And for any Hainanese chicken rice, it comes in three parts. First of all will be the chicken, then you get the rice, and then the chili sauce. And here, first of all, the chicken here. The chicken at this stall, they do it very well. As you can see, the chicken here, first of all, is meaty. It's soft, it's tender, it has a nice bite texture when you bite into it. It's cooked a very good, a very delicious chicken. Then the rice here is also very good. It has, when you first taste it, a very prominent lemongrass, ginger fragrance that comes from the rice. The rice here is nice and bouncy and has a very nice bite texture to it. Then you have the chili sauce. The chili sauce here is also a very good chili sauce. It's well balanced with a bit of a citrus finish to it, which is delicious and goes well with both the rice and the chicken. So the standard of Hainanese chicken rice at this store here is very high, and it's a very good example of what a good Hainanese chicken rice should taste like. So this store here will have the longest queue at this food center, especially during the peak hour lunch timing on weekday. The queue here will be the longest, but one thing good about here is they are able to actually clear the queue quite fast. Even though if you make a big order, they are still able to clear the queue fast. So that's one thing good about them. They are very efficient. And so if you haven't tried Hainanese chicken rice before, then I say join the queue. This place is worth the queue. And a lot of Singaporeans will say that this place is overrated. But in my opinion, in my personal opinion, first of all, the price of the chicken here is affordable. It's not the cheapest, but they're not the most expensive. Secondly is they're efficient. Even though the queue is long, they clear the queue fast. They also do their chicken very well, the rice very well, and also the chili also they do it very well. And the consistency of the food, the standard, most of the time, the standard here is very good. Sometimes it's slightly lower, but most of the time they make a very good Hainanese chicken rice. And most of the time when I come here to eat their food, I am not disappointed. And so we are leaving this iconic store at this food center. And this place here, like I said, lots of good food, lots of places, but we are actually looking for queues at the moment. And so we'll be heading further down here to look for more queues. But I must say, there are a lot of different types of food items here for you to try. And some of the items, like a store coming up soon, where they actually sell oyster omelette, a snack item that is slowly disappearing from our food culture, our food shores here, which is here, this store here. So if you like a snack, drop by and grab a snack. And we're coming up to our next queue, which is this place here. The name of the shop is called Mixed Vegetable Rice Porridge. And what they sell here is mixed vegetable rice. So what you do is you order rice and you add in different types of ingredients like the meat or vegetables to eat together with your rice. And this store here, we actually came a bit early, so that's why not all the food items were ready. If you're going to come here to eat, you may want to come here after 12. But what I ordered from here, this mixed rice dish cost me $4. And first of all, at the side here, you have some thinly sliced pork, cooked very nicely with some vegetables. It's soft and tender and well seasoned. Then on top there, you have some curried vegetable. The curry, very nice, very lemak or very coconutty. It's a bit spicy, and the curry actually penetrates into the cabbage, which is very nice. Then you also have some steamed pork, and they actually poured on top of the steamed pork a mixture, a sauce, which is comprising of salted egg and century egg, which actually adds lots of delicious flavor into the pork. Overall, it's affordable, so the people queue up to actually eat the food because first of all, they give you very good portion size, the food here tastes really good, and it's affordable. And if you're here, you're hungry for lunch, this place is worth the queue. So now, let's head towards for our next queue. And to do that, we may have to go to the next row. And there are also like lots of stores here that actually sells Hainanese chicken rice. I think almost 7 stores. And up here now is a store that sells dessert, a bit overpriced for my taste. So normally I don't like to go there. And then in front here, there's actually a gyoza shop, which also sells dumplings, but I feel that the price there is a bit overpriced too. Then you also have Lad and Dad, which they sell British food in a Singaporean hawker center. Yeah, something you didn't expect to find in a hawker center, British food. And finally, we have reached the next queue, which is at this stall called Fish Head Bihun. And this stall sells a very popular Singaporean dish called fish soup. You can have it in the sliced fish version or the fried fish version, and here are all the prices. Then you can have the soup together with either rice, noodles, or just the soup by itself. Any way you have it, the soup here will taste delicious. And this stall here is a very popular stall. If you come here during lunchtime, peak hour, there's a long queue. So my advice for you, if you want to eat the soup, come here off-peak hours, then you don't have to wait very long. But if you come here during peak hour, the queue here is substantial and you have to wait quite a long time. So what I ordered from them is their fried fish soup together with milk. No noodles, no rice, just the soup itself. This fish soup here is one of the better fish soups you can get in Singapore. The soup here is fresh tasting, very savory, good fish soup, milky, with an almost umami flavor. And then the sweetness that you get from this soup can only come when you cook the fish bones for a very long period of time to extract out all the goodness of the bones into the soup. And this soup here is fantastic. It goes very well together with rice, and if you take the sliced fish version, you can actually taste the freshness of the sliced fish too. Then you also have some tofu and some tomato. The tomato adds in a bit of a tanginess that goes very well with this soup. If you come here, the queue is not too long, you should join the queue because this place is definitely worth the queue. And just right next door to the shop, this fish soup shop, is our next queue. And this shop is quite new, so I don't really know much about this shop, so I'm going to join the queue and see what this shop is all about. And what they sell there is something very interesting, which is actually not interesting but very similar, which is they sell handmade noodles or ban mian, or different types of noodles cooked together in soup, or they also sell fish soup, which is the sliced fish version and also the fried fish version. So what I ordered from this store is their handmade noodles, which cost me $3.50, or you can call it ban mian. And here, the ban mian here, first of all, I must say, the noodles, they actually did it nicely. The noodles still had a very nice bite texture to eat when you bite into it. And also, as you can see here, they do give you a lot of soup with your bowl of noodles. And this soup here, I must say, is packed full with MSG. They put in lots of MSG into the soup here. And I got very thirsty after this. That's why now I'm having a lot of problem finishing this sentence because of all the MSG. My throat is very dry. But the other ingredients they put in here are just ordinary. What I can say is they did cook the dish well, they did execute the dish well, just that all the ingredients they use are just ordinary ingredients. But is it worth the queue? If there is a queue, I wouldn't actually queue up for the food. Well, this brings us to the end of our worth the queue adventure, our food adventure, street food, hawker food, delicious Singapore food here at Maxwell Food Centre. I hope you enjoyed this food adventure here with us, and I hope you found out some interesting information about queuing up and whether certain places are worth the queue. And thank you very much for joining me for this adventure. As per usual, you know what to do. Please help me by liking my video, sharing my video, and also subscribing to my channel. And lastly, but the most important thing, the thing that you have to do is to join me for my next adventure, my next food adventure. I will see you there. Bye bye.